Jadon Sancho is a free agent. We need a left winger. He's English. He's got a point to prove. He's a Londoner. What we saying, people, is anyone taking Jadon Sancho on a free transfer? Yes, you've got to consider, the fact that he's a talented lad. He's played for Chelsea, played for Man United. He's an England international. He's played for Aston Villa and won the Europa League. One of Man United's most expensive signings. Now, would you take a chance on him? Me personally, I like Sancho, but I wouldn't, just because purely sense there's too many we've already got players like that. In that, if we sign Sancho tomorrow, yeah, and you just for a second just stay with me, isolate our attackers. Some of our attackers, obviously, we're Premier League champions. Yeah, where's my medal? You know the vibes already, folks. You know the vibes. So, like, yeah, we're Premier League champions, as I was saying. So we put some respect here. But if I was to isolate just my attacking unit, some of our players are good players, like Bakayo. We're just waiting for you to get back to what you're on. The Yokerezes and Ezes, the quality's there. First half of the season, it was a bit hot and cold. They ended the season strongly. Then you've got Martinelli and Trossard that have had good and bad periods, but ultimately that level of consistency isn't there. Noni, I do like you. But in terms of goals and numbers, we can't really rely on you beyond being a squad filler in that regards. And yes, there's a lot of football. So that's my point. If you isolate Trossard, Martinelli, Noni Madueke, all of our attackers, big up Max Dowman, he's relevant but irrelevant. They're not bad players, but suddenly when you've got a group of players like that, where if they could do this and if they could get goals and assists and just improve their end product, which is all relevant and prevalent and true, suddenly, you don't really know what you're getting. And over a 38 game calendar, I think for us to get to the next level, we know the whole defensive ethos on our team, from how we press to our shape to obviously David Raya and just how our defenders defend. I think we need some attackers that we could bet on. Who they are, I don't know. It's between Arteta and Berta. But as I said, straight off the bat, would you take Sancho, who is tipped for a Premier League transfer after his Manchester United exit, people? Where he goes, I'm not sure. I don't think he pulled up any trees at Aston Villa. I'm sure there was a game he got subbed on and subbed off. It's just consistency with Sancho, isn't it? Like, I don't know him, but it's just consistency. The ability's there. You've had a good career, been capped by the country, played for United, Chelsea, Aston Villa under Unai Emery, Borussia Dortmund, but the level of consistency. Reality is, yeah, whether it's left wing in the 10 or whatever, he should be at the World Cup if ability was just it. He should be someone we look at as one of the best players in his position. Unfortunately, we're not doing that. As it says here, he was considered one of the best young players at the time, people. We did move to Man United for 73 million, 12 goals and 6 assists in 83 appearances. So, yeah, he's tipped for a Premier League. He did go on loan back to Dortmund, and he's being linked with them. He's tipped for a Premier League move, people. He hasn't really done enough to warrant a massive contract like he was on at Man United, but he'll get a good move. I don't doubt that, if I'm completely honest. He said that midsection of the Premier League, I don't think he's going to move to one of the top 6 clubs, which is why I'm asking, would you take a chance? Man United did have the option of extending his contract by a year, but obviously they need to clean up their ranks. Casemiro was a good servant for Man United, but his wages frees up stuff. They're probably going to move on Onana. They've got rid of Ramesh Højlund. Equally, and we'll get onto it, it will be equally as entertaining to see what happens with Marcus Rashford. And if it came to it, would you prefer Rashford or Sancho, people? So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, people. We're going to circle back on Livramento in just a second, but predictable, really. The Kylian Yildiz thing didn't bang for us. We're looking at 86 million. He's the golden boy and the jewel, the prize jewel, I'd say, in Juventus's cabinet. They'll do everything not to sell him, people. But if they do want to sell him, Juventus are not in the Champions League, the Italian league of the top 5, probably the most struggling financially. We could be at the front of the queue. Man United now ready to sell Rashford to Arsenal after contact as intermediaries instructed. Do I think a lot of teams will be interested in Rashford, regardless of what me or you or the armchair experts think? Yes. Do I think Arsenal like him? Yes. Do I think Arsenal, Man United, there's a deal to be done if you wanted to? Yes. But like Sancho, or like kind of what I was saying about Sancho, you can't bet on his consistency. Now, I don't know this for gospel, but I was reading a report about Barcelona and they had concerns. They went for Gordon because they rate Gordon a lot more in attack and obviously defensively. Now, in the modern day, you see even at PSG, you have to be able to defend to a certain level. Rashford, the technical level's there. I just think if there's 10 games, there'll be 3 games where you're Bobby Dazzler, 3 games where you're rubbish, 3 games where you're inconsistent, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. We've already got that at the football club. Not to mention wages. Obviously, he can play on the left-hand side. And he's manned them, so I wouldn't be against it. But I wouldn't say this fills me with any joy. And yes, if Arteta can get a trick out of him and get Rashford playing to that level, it's great. But that's the kind of connotations and language we've been saying for a minute, innit, people? So I'd rather somebody fresh. If I'm honest, like, let's work with, not saying Noni Rashford's better than Noni, but like I said, it's kind of the same theme of conversation, right? Let's get let's polish Noni and polish this one and get them guys back to where they're doing before we add another one to it. But Man United are ready to sell Rashford to Arsenal. I mean, it's predictable. I don't believe this, but with a reliable report claiming the Gunners have been made aware of the England international's availability. Arsenal are on the hunt for a left winger with manager Mikel Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta keen on more options. Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli are the two recognised left backs in the Arsenal squad at the moment. You see how excited this guy was to release this article. I know they have to do a lot of defending, but last time I checked, neither Trossard nor Martinelli were left backs, people. However, there are rumours that both Trossard and Martinelli could be on their way out of the Emirates Stadium this summer. Rashford plays on the left wing and he can play up front. He would be a very experienced option for Arsenal. I'm not for it, people. I'm not moved. And Darren Bent's spoken about it. But yeah, Man United are willing to sell Rashford. Arsenal have been made aware of Rashford's availability. United are willing to sell Rashford. The 28. I still remember your debut. I'm sure there was a period you bagged your first Premier League goal. I'm sure against us. I'm sure you played in the role. I'm sure under Van Gaal there was like a week or 10 days. It felt like Rashford first FA Cup game bag, Premier League game bag, Europe bag, England bag. I'm probably making it all up, but this is what I mean. Time waits for no one. The days are long, but the years are quick, man. Like he's 28, bro. He's 28. We're going to blink and Max Dowman's married and he's got kids and his own son's going to be in the academy. Naturally, I get it. Man United want to get rid of Rashford. Rashford probably wants to depart from Man United. So Man United are going to put the feelers out. And Rashford's agent, if they're doing their job, they're going to pitch him to whoever would listen to a conversation about his availability. That's just something that happens in football with all players in it. So they've instructed the intermediaries to find new clubs for Rashford, with Barcelona unwilling to meet their demands. Man United stunningly contact Arsenal to sign Rashford as Ineos left furious by Barcelona's stance. I mean, when there's a buy option, not an obligation, we all know it happened to us with Fabio Vieira. It's happened to Man United with Barcelona. When you're signing these deals, they're going to tell you, yeah, man, we're going to buy him. A year goes, oh, you know what, 30 million's a bit too expensive. Let's try and bargain it down, people. Apparently, Man United are not restricting the search. Of course, he's probably on over 300 grand. They want to clean ranks in it, really and truly, and then obviously bring in new players. Sources have confirmed that no club could be ruled out if a suitable deal could be found, including Premier League rivals. Chelsea and Arsenal are among the clubs who have been made aware of Rashford's availability, as Man United assess every possible revenue. Long-term admirers PSG have also been contacted, while Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid have similarly been informed of the player's situation. I'm sure Lookman could tell you what it's like in Madrid. I think Atletico will be good for you. I think PSG would be amazing if you go PSG, and Bayern Munich would be great. I think Rashford just needs to stay out the country, man. I just think when you're out there, you're not in the papers all the time and all of those kind of things. They just leave you alone type of stuff. Arsenal and Manchester City are both keeping a close eye on Tino Livermento, but Newcastle's valuation could make any summer deal difficult. When I think of him, it's just injuries, man. Both clubs are admirers of the England international, yet Newcastle would only consider selling for a fee higher than the current world record price for a right back. What would that be? Oh, it would be the 68 million euros it says there for Hakimi when he went to PSG from Inter Milan. It's easy to understand why Livramento is attracting attention. He's quick, athletic, technically secure, and comfortable playing in a high energy system, and also can play left back and right back. So he fits both. But Newcastle are, everyone's linked with moves away. Lewis Hall is being linked with Man United. Tonali's being linked with Man United, Arsenal, City. Livramento's getting them. They talk of that. Apparently, they want to move Visser on. They're in a strong negotiating position because they just got some money from Gordon. It would be interesting to see what is going on. Newcastle are not going to let him go cheaply. He's a current England international. He's with the World Cup squad. The only thing that makes it easy to bargain him down would be the injuries, people. And what a player he's been since signing for Southampton. Apologies, in 2023. He's contracted until 2028. So within the next 18 months, whether he's going to be sold, get a new deal, be interesting, people. Arsenal are interested, while City have been linked with the defender for some time. However, the price remains an issue. There's also reservations around his injury history. Boy, he only made 14 starts in the Premier League. And that's the only thing, because if it was just white and black in terms of quality, if you move Benjamin White out, you've got Livramento and Timber, two players who can play on either side on top of everything we've got. I'm all for that, people. I don't blame Newcastle for holding out for a record fee. Likewise, I don't blame Arsenal and City for maybe exploring all options. I'll be amazed if we don't sign a defender. Declan Rice scored for England. And did you not see Noni Madueke's miss? I did like his interview after where he said, I'll score them when the tournament starts. But bloody hell, Noni, it's nice to see Declan Rice scoring. Big up Anthony Gordon as well, man, because he done all the work. Rafa Leão was ready to be saved from his trouble period at AC Milan thanks to an impending 40 million euros contract offer. Would you rather sign Leão or Rashford? Because they're kind of in the talking points around them are kind of similar, folks. He's been linked with Arsenal and Man United. He's made it clear he wants to move to the Premier League. Galatasaray seem to be the ones he's linked with the most. He's got a release clause of 175 million euros. Once he could have went for 120 million, but another one whose contract is running down, didn't have the best of seasons for AC Milan, was quite critical on being played out of position, 10 goals and 3 assists. I think it's another one where his agents are pitching people. We've been flirting with a move for Leão. The Gunners' interest in the player exclusively revealed earlier this year. Leao's situation is about to be set in motion. Galatasaray are set to launch a bid for him and pay him quite a decent salary, as it says there, people. Apparently, he's ready to stall on a transfer call, and his priority remains the Premier League. And you got to remember, there's a World Cup going on. Romano has said the feeling from the player and those close to him is that the Premier League would be the dream destination. That is his priority. He's received calls from Turkish club in recent weeks, but wants to wait because he believes the World Cup could create big opportunities. Leão feels his chapter at AC Milan is finished. His priority is the Premier League, and then as a second option, La Liga. At the moment, there's nothing advanced with any Premier League club. There are no official bids. There are no concrete negotiations. I think the World Cup will be very important because Leão believes it can open doors and create opportunities for his next move. Now his focus is on the World Cup. Then we'll wait and see what happens. And that's probably similar logic with a lot of people. I don't think anyone believes this, but owing to the Julian Alvarez stuff, 1 minute he's falling out with Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid have bid for him, PSG won him, Arsenal won him. Apparently we're in pole position or prime position to sign him. I'm never going to waste time, man, with that, people. It's just nonsense. And the Spanish media are saying the only way for Julian Alvarez is Arsenal. The English club has both the interest and the money to sign the Argentine. It won't be easy, however. The Argentine's international continued presence at Atletico Madrid seems unlikely despite the club's management's insistence on keeping the striker. I would love him at the carpet. I can't see us doing that, people. Real Madrid, courtesy of Romano, offered 150 million euros for Alvarez, but Atletico Madrid publicly rejected the proposal with very strong statements. Real Madrid are not returning with a new bid as of today. It's not a situation where Real Madrid offered 150 million euros. Atletico said no, and another proposal arrived immediately. That process is not happening. Real Madrid have taken note of Atletico's response. I still reckon he goes Barcelona, people. Against Costa Rica, you'd see that Morgan Rogers and Eze can play together. I'm not wasting you lot's time with that, but apparently Arsenal are exploring a deal for Rogers ahead of the 2026 summer transfer window, and them have been informed he's open to completing a switch to the Emirates Stadium after the World Cup. Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain have all been heavily linked with the 23-year-old, but Arsenal appear to be the front runners for his signature as things stand. In Eze, the Gunners already have an extremely talented attacker capable of playing as an advanced midfielder or as a left winger, and their interest in Rodgers, who is a similar profile and is likely to cost around 100 million euros, has therefore raised questions. And they proved they could play together, people. So, yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. Is there anything new here on this website? No, there isn't. We're being linked with Nico Williams once again, people. Team Talk can reveal Arsenal remain firmly in the hunt for Atletico Bilbao winger Nico Williams, with sources explaining why hopes remain that a deal can be done, and with the Spain international still viewed as one of the club's standout attacking targets. He's been on our radar since 2024. Apparently, we've never gone away. It did seem like he was going to go to Barcelona at one point. They've moved on, and probably we've moved on. Apparently, sources close to the player have consistently relayed to Arsenal and other interested clubs that Nico Williams would be open to testing himself in the Premier League should the right opportunity arrive. I can't lie. Get me Morgan Rogers and Nico Williams, and I'm a happy lad, man. He has been named in the World Cup squad. Another one that's being linked with, other clubs as the World Cup goes on. And another one that apparently is going into this tournament with injuries, people. Apparently he sees the tournament as the perfect platform to re-establish himself among Europe's elite young forwards. To be fair, when Spain won the Euros, he was an absolute baller. Arsenal continue to monitor the situation closely as they pursue reinforcements on the left-hand side. Andrea Berta is leading our recruitment strategy, and Rodgers remains, of firm interest. Liverpool, Manchester City, and Manchester United are all being kept informed of Williams' situation. So we're going to have to see how this develops. What is this? Arsenal's first summer recruit. Oh, I'm talking about, pardon me, Mr. Orlando Obrantes, who's obviously replaced our previous head of apologies, people, our head of medicine. So we'll have to see how this develops.